Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And after that terrible last video, I thought we need something to cheer us up. And so we shall. We should be cheered and enlightened by good old-fashioned abuse of the SNP. And in particular, Alibaba. He's decided that, after all, it might be a good idea to have a probe into the effect of higher taxes. You know, exactly the sort of thing that everybody's been telling him in advance. How it reduces tax take, how it encourages people to be more tax efficient, how it drives investment away, and how it means that the higher earners tend to take avoidance schemes such as moving out of Scotland and removing the potentiality for the growth and the expansion of the economy. All these sort of things that everybody knows in advance, except the SNP, because they're all thick as custard. You know, these people are. They're just insane, really. But he's launched this probe, which is a great idea to do, but I think perhaps he should have done it before putting the taxes up rather than after. But then, that would be common sense to do that. Well beyond the capabilities of those bunch of clowns. It's like Billy Smarts, isn't it? Billy Smarts Circus up in Holyrood. Anyway, we'll take a look and see finally if he can work out why higher taxes are such a bad idea. Here goes. So, hapless Humza Yousaf only launches the probe into the effect of higher taxes on hardworking Scots after announcing huge increases. Now, I know that most of you will know what the Laffer curve is, but for those who don't, it's basically as you increase the rates of taxation, the amount that you take at any particular rate reduces because people are driven into becoming tax efficient, avoidance schemes start, people move away, stop doing overtime, what's the bloody point, and things like that. And you reach that inflection point where actually the amount that you take in tax reduces. Small tax, low tax economies boom, high tax economies stagnate. Guess which one Humza Yousaf's going after? You got it, every time, because these people are morons. Finance Secretary Shona Robinson, a woman with an IQ of 86, announced a spate of tax hikes which will hammer middle-class Scots, with the Scottish Government admitting it is only researching the impact of this economy after the announcement, because they really haven't got a clue what will happen. We said in advance, regular viewers and your new viewers, you can go back and look, regular viewers know, we've discussed this several times, what will happen? People will, first of all, stop doing overtime, because what's the point when the government are going to get 70% of what you work, what you do, what you earn? So that will shrink. That will shrink growth in the economy. There's no expansion, because what's the bloody point? Secondly, the professionals who can move will. Thirdly, it won't attract people looking to invest in Scotland. Fourthly, why would a company want to expand in Scotland when it can expand in England? So you're going to drive any kind of expansion south of the border. And if people do move, of course, this is the big problem, people do move, not only are you losing that little bit of extra tax that you would have got from their wages, but if they do go, you're losing everything up to that point as well. You're losing not just the extra, but the main. It's a massive loss. And there's enough people that would be willing to do it to make this absolute torrent, this rush, this stampede of the professionals to go south of the border. Why would they not? And of course, on top of that, they're looking at taxing supermarkets, which will get passed on to the cost of food. And so therefore, you're going to be living in a high tax economy where the prices are going through the roof as well. Go south of the border, earn more, food's cheaper. What are you going to do? If you can move, you'll move. And for people who work in the border regions, they can move south, they can move into Cumbria, Northumberland. Not a problem, little bit of a commute, 20 miles across the border, bang. It's just common sense. But of course, the problem with common sense is it isn't that common, particularly not in the SNP. Anyway, Hapless Yousaf was accused of economic illiteracy on an epic scale. Well, he fails on everything he does, so why would we expect this to be any different? Anyway, this was after it was revealed his government only launched a probe into the effects of higher taxes on the Scottish economy after announcing it at Holyrood. Shona Robinson announced tax hikes which will clobber hard-working middle-class Scots the most. That's including teachers and police officers. And it's already bad enough trying to get teachers into Scotland now. You start doing this to the teachers, why will they not just go up and say, look, I've got a teaching degree, I'll go to teach in England, where there's lower risk of bodily harm, where they have more powers to evict kids from schools if they do become problems, where I'll earn more money, and where food is cheaper. What's keeping the teachers in Scotland? Because it isn't the pleasant atmosphere of the schools, let me tell you. Anyway, fears have been raised that these punitive taxes will declare Scotland as closed for business. Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking, oh, I need to expand my operation into Europe, you're an American and you want to go expand into where should I go? Scotland's very expensive on taxes, so I won't go there. England's offering some deals, let's go there instead. It's common sense. What's wrong with these people? The Scottish Government is only now just working with HM Revenue Customs to assess whether having the highest taxes in the UK is affecting the country's ability to attract and retain key workers. Well, duh. Everyone earning $27,500 pays more income tax compared to those in England. And the tax divide is going to grow even further in April if the SNP's budget gets passed through, as a new 45% tax band is being introduced. That's for people between 75 and 125k. Now, they've got this vote. Now, it's by no means guaranteed the vote will go through now, because we have, as I've mentioned as well in other videos, the new, the big problem for Humza Yousaf and Shona Robinson is that they have technically a majority and they should be able to get this budget through. But there is a new faction, the anti-Yousaf faction, Kate Forbes and a few others, and if they jump ship, as it were, and vote against the budget, then they could bring it down and they could fail the budget. And it doesn't take many. It's about 6 or 7, I think. And the budget fails. And if the budget fails, Shona Robinson has to resign. Basically, she'd have to resign. And so, of course, with Dumza, he would have to go as well. And that just opens the door for Kate Forbes to take over. Well, the games they play, eh? Anyway, the government is also relying on what's called fiscal drag, as it froze salary thresholds for the 42p higher rate at 43,633 rather than increasing it with inflation. And this means middle income workers, such as teachers, police officers and NHS staff, will suffer fiscal drag, as more Scots will be dragged into paying the higher rate. They do this occasionally, and so you think, oh look, they'll up the lower allowance perhaps a little bit. They haven't for a while, but what they tend to do is they'll up the lower allowance, but not up the next step quite so much. And so, yeah, okay, we're giving everyone an extra couple of pound a week at the bottom, but we're taking £1.50, £2 off the top. And so the net difference isn't great. It's slightly better, but they're catching more people. What they do is over time, it's piecemeal, over time, boom, 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 and it works out. But, people see a small increase and think, okay, but they don't see a big increase, which is what they really need. Anyway, the report's findings are expected to be revealed in the coming months. Opposition rivals have hit out at the SNP for failing to consider the consequences of its plans. Bada bing. What have I been saying all along? Years I've been saying this. They don't see the consequences of their decisions. They don't look ahead. They're incapable of looking and saying, if I do this, what happens? They don't see it because they're too damn stupid. Scottish Conservative finance spokesman Liz Smith told the Daily Mail the SNP government had already made Scotland the highest tax part of the UK before their latest budget clobbered taxpayers even more, and all to plug the hole they created in the finances. And then she said, yet it's only after this hike they're beginning to think about whether it will stymie growth, which of course it will. If you're working there, let's just say, whatever you are, whatever you do for your living, and let's just say that you've just hit that threshold and you think, well, you know what? If I work 10 more hours, I'm going to get whatever your rate is, right? £500. Let's say you're £50 an hour. Plumber, something like that, £50 an hour. You're getting, if I work another 10 hours, that's another £500. And then you sit back and watch as the government take 350 of that from you. I mean, what is the point? What would you do? Oh, I work 10 hours and I get 150 quid. You know, is it worth it? Of course it's not. And that's what happens. And that's what these people don't understand. Because they are massive, massive bellends, for want of a better word. They are overtaxing people. People refuse to work extra hours. The economy stagnates. People won't come. People will leave. And it's all the skilled jobs. It's all those skilled jobs that you desperately need in an economy that will disappear. But hey, you go and have your little probe. Yeah, and then work out what the rest of us worked out way, way long ago before you even announced it. Because you're all massively stupid. I'm coming up. I sometimes wonder how these people function as human beings. How do they go through their daily life with such little, minimal brain power? They really are retarded. How do you not understand the effects of high taxation on an economy? Not just this, how do they not understand anything they do? They have a complete inability to see consequences, to understand what they're doing, what they're saying. They literally haven't got a clue. And yet they've managed to somehow get to the top, get to the positions of authority and power that they're in. They're like turtle, what they call post turtles, aren't they? You see a turtle on a post and you think, wait, how the hell did it get there? It doesn't know how it got there. It doesn't know how to get out of the situation. It just is. And that's what you got in Holyrood. A whole series of post turtles. They haven't got a clue. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.